Welcome to the Quarantine Show, keeping you ill-informed of what's going on in and around Sarnia, Lambton. With the NHL announcing playoffs are back on, he's planning the Maple Leafs Stanley Cup Parade. Here's Richard Head. Yeah, that's right. The parade back on as the NHL has agreed to a somewhat of a weird playoff format, but the parade down Yonge Street definitely back on, though it will depend on social distancing measures, of course, though. Looking at what happened in Toronto this past weekend, I don't think anybody really cares, to be perfectly honest. Richard Head with you. You can call me Dick. Another edition of the Quarantine Show. Coming up this week, we'll take a look at the top 10 signs. Maybe you've been quarantined just a little bit too long. Also, Sarnia getting some recognition as one of the top 20 cities in the country. For what? Well, we'll tell you in just a little bit. First, though, obviously the COVID pandemic affecting many small businesses, many corporations, pretty much everybody, really. And the Blue Water Bridge, no different there. A spokesman for the Blue Water Bridge says it hasn't been a fun spring, but from a personal point of view, extending the border closure is absolutely the right decision. That's right, the Federal Bridge Corporation Director of Communications, Todd Keeley, had made the comment in reaction to the Trudeau government's announcement last Tuesday that the Canada-U.S. border will remain closed to non-essential travel up until, so far, June 21st of 2020. Also, though, a spokesman contacted the shit show representing the singles of Sarnia, saying that the bridge, not the only one coping with not being ridden. Married couples, though, on the other hand, they're having all sorts of sex, just not with each other. Yes, that's right. According to the adultery website, AshleyMadison.com, Sarnia is ranking 12th in the country in pandemic affairs. Yes, that's right. Somehow, in this time of social distancing, married couples have been finding ways to get out there and cheat on their spouses. Sarnia was top 3 in Ontario, by the way. We're only behind Barrie and Waterloo in our hatred for marriage. And Sarnians apparently have no problem, at least social distancing from themselves. One would assume, though, that after this story, Sarnia's going to also be in the top 20 for shared Facebook accounts. As businesses open up and rules are getting relaxed, city amenities starting to open up as well. In general, it seems that lots of picnic sites, benches, and shelters, as well as parks and recreational areas are now open, provided, of course, that users maintain a physical distance of at least 2 meters apart. Some of the sports fields have opened up as well, although some rules do apply there. I know the baseball diamonds have opened up, BMX parks, skate parks, soccer fields, pickleball, basketball, and, of course, tennis courts as well. And for those that maybe want to go out and use some of these sports fields, here is some great advice for you.
Every player, unless they're from the same household, has to bring their own tennis balls so that you don't touch other people's tennis balls with your hands. You can kick their balls, but you can't touch them.
Well, it's not every day that you make it to 100 years old. That's for sure, and unfortunately it was during a global pandemic. That's right, Lillian Price's family had spent months planning her 100th birthday, but unfortunately a global pandemic and, of course, the government-mandated physical distancing rules have thrown a bit of a wrench in those plans. But together with staff at her Sarnia retirement home, they did come up with a pretty memorable way to celebrate 100 years. That's right, they had a parade of dozens of vehicles ranging from classics to hot rods, modern pickups, minivans, you name it. It was there as they paraded through the entrance to Rosewood Village from Indian Road. And, it's a pretty big accomplishment making it to 100 years. Price, who spent most of her life living in the Greater Toronto Area and Ottawa, moved to Rosewood about a year ago, just proving that the secret to making it to 100 years old in Sarnia is to spend 99 years elsewhere. Yes, that's right. Normally, we'd be having some sports, but as mentioned off the top of the program, the NHL announcing that they're coming back, and it seems our sports guy's still off celebrating. So we're going to have to skip sports this week, but who knows? Maybe we might actually have some real sports content coming up in just a bit. But before I go, going to leave you off with tonight's top 10 list. That's right, the top 10 signs you have been in quarantine just a little bit too long. Sign number 10. Thinking about baseball? Well, it just doesn't do anything for those awkward boners anymore. Number 9, you finally watched Tiger King. Yes, that's right. Even that bitch Carol Baskin watched it, so you got to get there at some point. Number 8, you've bought enough batteries to say that you are now in a relationship with the Energizer Bunny. Number 7, by this point, you've thought of at least one person that you wished had contracted COVID. Number 6, you've come to the conclusion that, well, just give teachers whatever they want. Anything is better than having to teach that little terrorist yourself, right? Exactly. Number 5, pajama pants are quickly becoming acceptable business wear, and wearing no pants at all, that's business casual now. And number 4, you've Googled Betty White just simply to make sure that she's still alive. Number 3, you've run right out of Netflix. That's right, it's just chill now. There is no Netflix. Number 2, you've learned that, well, you touch your face just as much as Louis C.K. touches himself in front of other comedians. And the number 1 sign, especially if you're married in Sarnia, that you've been in quarantine for just a little too long, you signed up for AshleyMadison.com. I'm not wearing any pants.